What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back with another episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley, episode 85. Ocho Cinco. Nah, not really. Thank you. You are far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I am so glad you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel me when I speak. Don't forget to like this episode. Go and subscribe to all the platforms on YouTube, with Spotify and Apple. If you're just into the podcast form, like Mr. Fourth Along on Twitter, Fanatics View on Twitter and Instagram, Unfiltered with Jesse Holley on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those great places, man. Leave the comments, leave 5-star review, and if you're in the city, if you're in the DFW area, come on down to Playmakers, the Playmakers 88 Sports Bar and Restaurant off of Highway 121 in the Colony. They got great drink specials. They got great food specials. The food is good. The vibe is immaculate. It's great. You never know. I'm sitting in the office of the Hall of Famer, the Playmaker himself, and every now and again, he might be in here. Playmaker might come through and be in here. And he vibes out with the people. So come on down. Check out the Playmakers 88 Sports Bar Restaurant off of 121, Highway 121 in the Colony. You guys know I like to get down. I get my motivation at the beginning because let's be honest with you. Most of you are not going to be here at the end. And that's okay because I am not for every body. But before you go, find yourself one episode, give it a 15-minute listen. If you don't like it, find another one and another one and another one. Keep watching until you love me. I'm lovable. I am lovable. I'm really hateable sometimes too, but I'm really lovable. If you just give me a chance, Put me in the group chat, put me in the girl chat, put me in the fella chat, the church chat, all of the chats that you have. I want to be in all those chats. Put me on your social medias too, TikTok, Instagram. What's the other one they got now? Blue. What's the other one now that they got that people leaving Thread? They leaving Twitter and going somewhere else over there. Bluebird. I don't know what it is. Listen, I'm Twitter. If I'm done with Twitter, I'm done with everything. Yeah, won't see me no more. I'm out. I'm really out. All right, man. But let's get into this thing. And the word of this show is, I got this one from my boy Philip Tanner. Shout out to my boy PT, the head coach of the Burleson Elks. And he simply put on his Twitter, he said, stay away from individuals that have a problem to every solution. Stay away from individuals that have a problem to every solution. And I took from that, some folks just want to be miserable. And there's nothing that you can say, do, try to create a space for them to be positive, they just want to be miserable. So you know what you have to do? Let them. Just flat out let them. Because a lot of times as men, we have the solutionary trait. You give us a problem, we're bred to try to fix it. You tell us something, and we're trying to fix it. And if every time you try to have a positive solution to something that somebody gives you, and they got a negative reaction to it, let them be. Don't waste another ounce of energy on those people who look at every solution with the problem. Because clearly you want to be in this mess. So allow them to be. And you go on about your merry business. So stay away from individuals that have a problem to every solution. All they're going to do is make you stress you out, give you gray hairs, frustrate you, piss you off, and make you mad. Don't waste your time with them. Let them have their problem. Let them sit in their misery and just let them go on about their business. All right, man. We didn't get a chance to really recap the game from Cincinnati. That's okay. That's good. The Cowboys did lose that game and pretty much shut down. I know there's still a small chance of them making the playoffs, but they would need God. They would literally need God to come down and move heaven and earth for them to make the playoffs. But they tried to make a run. Didn't go too well for them. Bonehead play at the end of the game. Backup defensive back Amani Oruwariye touched the ball on the block punt and fumbled the ball back to the Bengals, and they went down. Jamar Chase went down and scored, which would have capped his day off at 14 catches for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. By the way, puts Jamar Chase in a very, very, very exclusive driver's seat, because right now he's trying to get the Triple Crown. And right now, he is first in receptions, first in yards, and first in touchdowns for the wide receiver. So Jamar Chase is definitely going for the Triple Crown, and Joe Burrow is definitely trying to help him get there. But let's take a look at the Panthers. Before we get fully into the Panthers, one player that the Cowboys will not have this week versus the Panthers, their budding superstar linebacker, DeMarvion Overshown. In that Cincinnati game last week, DeMarvion got rolled up by Mozzie Smith and some other Bengals players, was helped off the field after the game. Mike McCarthy talked about it was of the serious type when it came to an injury. Got the MRI earlier this week, and it was very unfortunate news, very heartbreaking news. DeMarvion Overshown tore his MCL, PCL, and ACL. So that's a 10-month recovery. And a lot of people, and I'm no doctor, but a lot of people are saying you can probably kiss his 2025 season goodbye. And you probably won't see DeMarvion Overshown until the 2026 season, which sucks, which absolutely sucks. And you saw after that game, and you saw in the locker room, and you saw even this week, I was at the Star the other day, and the energy is off. There's still a somber, dark cloud that is covering the locker room and the building. And, losing a player like DeMarvion Overshown is definitely one that's touched a lot of people. Micah, Eric Kendricks, and Maris Lewifau, and all those guys on defense, they lost one of their brothers. And the biggest thing they did with a guy like DeMarvion is he brings joy to football. And I said this earlier this week. When you get into the game, you come in with this youthful joy. And then life happens, business happens, and, you get in bad situations, and you just get numb to it, and you lose the joy. Football becomes a job, and you understand that you're going to do a job, and you still have fun doing the job, but you lose that youthful joy that you had when you entered the league. And to a lot of these guys, when they saw DeMarvion Overshown, he reminded them of the time when they were having fun playing football. Eric Kenya talked about that. Micah Parsons talked about that. And to have that kind of guy who helped you get the love back for the game was critical, and they lost him to the injury. So the Cowboys are asking themselves, really, what's left to the season? How do we find ways to kind of go out there each and every week? Because when you're winning, there is this hope of, man, if we win 6 in a row, we can find ourselves in a great situation. But you lose to the Bengals, and as you get ready to take on the Carolina Panthers, in 2 football seasons, this is the first time that the Carolina Panthers, as of today, and when you see this, the Carolina Panthers are favored. They are favored to win this football game on Sunday. It's been 2 football seasons since they've been favored to win a game. That tells you, now I'm not the gambling type. I'm not the betting type. Vegas, me and Vegas, we don't even really fool with each other like that. But that just goes to show you the state of Cowboy football currently, as the team will travel to Charlotte to take on the Panthers. They are right now, what was it, 3-point underdog? 3-point underdog. And they usually give that to the home team. But when you're the Carolina Panthers, who actually have a worse record than the Dallas Cowboys, but au contraire, mon ami, the Carolina Panthers have been playing a better brand of football. And they're starting with the quarterback. You remember earlier in the year, Bryce Young was atrocious. He was absolutely atrocious. They brought in a new head coach, Canales, and they were trying to figure this thing out. And this Bryce Young was atrocious. and they benched him. And they input the Red Rocket. Is it the Red Rocket or the Red Rifle? The Red Rifle. TCU's own. TCU's own Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton got into a car accident. And they had to go back to the kid. And he has played better. The Panthers have found a running game. Sucks for their running game. Took a major hit this week. Jonathan Brooks, who was the rookie from Texas, who tore his ACL at Texas and it was missing most of the year, recovering from that ACL. And on one of his runs in the game 2 weeks ago, takes a handoff, puts his foot in the ground, tries to cut to his left, tears the ACL in the same knee again. And it sucks because it happens in December, which means he's on the same trajectory to miss a large portion of the season next year, recovering from that ACL injury. But the one thing that Bryce has been able to do, I shouldn't say Bryce, the Panthers been able to do, they've been able to run the ball better. Chuba Hubbard is their running back, and he's been okay. You know, I'm not going to pump him up too much, but Chuba, he has been running the football. He is a very solid running back, and the Cowboys are going to have their hands full with Chuba Hubbard this weekend. That's one thing that the Canales and this offense has done is they've taken the ball out of Bryce Young's hands in the simple form of establishing a better running game, allowing Chuba Hubbard to be the force multiplier offensively. And then what they're trying to do now is, and I think this was a big thing, and this is a big thing a lot of times for young quarterbacks entering the league. See, it's one thing when you enter the league and you're on one of those teams that have a lot of high caliber players around you. It's a whole other thing when you enter the league and you have a bunch of other guys trying to figure it out, and you're, one of these low level teams. Because what happens is the quarterback, a guy like Bryce Young, just walk with me for a second here. A guy like Bryce Young, when he was in college, right? One, he was at Alabama. And Alabama had all the five-star offensive linemen. And most of the time in college, most of those quarterbacks, not all of them, but most of them, they don't really have a pro-level thinking and a pro-level anticipatory mindset about delivering the football. And so what happens in college is a lot of times these college quarterbacks, when they get the ball, they let the play develop, and then they see the wide receiver come open and then throw the ball. That is a no-no. That's a no-no in the National Football League. If you see a receiver come open and then you throw the football, you're probably going to get it intercepted. Or if you're holding the ball, waiting to see if a receiver will get open, you're probably going to be sacked. In the league, what makes good quarterbacks, you watch a guy like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, it's the Herbert and, of course, guys like Patrick Mahomes. It's the anticipation of the throw. It's being able, you hear the term, throw a guy open. When a guy is still in his break, the ball is halfway there. So that when he comes out of his break, that DB that's right next to him, he's able now to have enough space to complete the pass. And you're not holding on to the ball a long time, and you're getting your head smashed in by the defenders because the lineman can't keep up, defending and blocking these guys for 3, 4, and 5 seconds while you wait for this route to open. Canales has done a great job now with condensing his formation, meaning the receivers are now closer to the line of scrimmage, and now they're running crosser routes. They're running routes now where he can see it develop ahead of time and deliver the ball in anticipation. The out routes, the crossers, the deep overs, those type of routes where the ball is coming out really, really quick, and now he's not having to think too much and hold on to the ball, and the offensive line are giving up many sacks like they were in the first half of the season. The Cowboys have a great task coming up because they're without DeMar and Overshown. So defensively, they have to step up and be stout. Micah Parsons has been lights out. No sacks last week against Joe Burrow, but he was a menace. He was everywhere. He was chasing Joe Burrow down, and it just shows you how good Joe Burrow really is because Micah just could not get to Joe Burrow. And the Saints are going to be at task this week because while Joe Burrow isn't like super duper athletic or fast, he has an amazing sense of the pocket. He is super, super, super pocket aware and knows how to move in the pocket so effortlessly that it's a side step, it's a step forward, it's a move to the left, move to the right. And Bryce Young, while he may not have the pocket awareness of a Joe Burrow, he definitely has the ability to squirm and squirt out of there. I looked at it, I was watching film, and I said, this is going to be a Tom and Jerry situation. The mouse is going to be Bryce Young, and the cat's going to be Micah, right? And they're going to be chasing each other around all day long. The thing about Bryce Young, though, back when I was playing, that's a long time ago, but there were quarterbacks like Eli Manning and Jay Cutler and Rex Grossman. And when you played those guys, you just knew that quarterback was going to give you one. He was going to do something in that game that was going to give you an opportunity to intercept the ball. Bryce Young is one of those guys. He's going to make a lot of good throws. He's going to make some really good passes to Adam Thielen, Adam Thielen is like the white dude at the rec. At the Y, at LA Fitness. When you go in there and play basketball, doesn't look athletic, doesn't look like he can hoop really, but then you check the ball up and you can't take the ball away from him. He makes every shot. He head fakes. He pump fakes. He's like, that's Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is a guy who just fundamentally sound, is an 11-year veteran. He's not fast, can't run away from guys, but he just gets open. He just gets open. He makes the layup. He makes the open jump shot. And and sometimes just the non-athleticism tricks the athletic person because we start trying to anticipate. And I say we because I still think I'm athletic. Even though y'all might not believe me, I still think I got a little bit of game left in me. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a very, very interesting game. Not going to lie. I would not be shocked if the Cowboys lose this game. And I say that because they're playing on a short week. They just played Monday night, and now they have to play Sunday. I'm telling you, if you could have just like the energy would just evaporated from them. You saw the guys hanging their head. Like I said, I was in the building all this week, and the energies from the players that you just see them. They just look drained. They looked depleted. And you get to this point in the season, and you try to find things that motivate you. Right? Usually it's playoffs. You're getting ready for playoffs. You're trying to figure out where we're at in the seedings. What do we have to play for? Right now, the Cowboys, all they really have to play for is a little bit of pride. A lot of guys are trying to probably get some contracts, but man, I just feel like that loss and the style in which they lost last week, because they were in it. They were in that Cincinnati game, and just when they thought they did enough, they didn't. You even saw how dejected Micah looked on the sideline, walked off the field. I think they're depleted. I do. I think they're depleted. And so for me, I'm gonna go with Vegas. I think the Carolina Panthers win this game. They've been in a lot of tough games. They took Kansas City to the limit. They should have beat Philadelphia. They should have. See, what's his name? Leggett, Xavier Leggett. He talking about eating that raccoon and eating that too far, greasy hands. That raccoon is greasy. And you had a touchdown at the end of that Philadelphia game that you dropped. Leave the raccoon alone, my boy. Please, no more coon. Leave the coon. You ain't from the country no more, man. Go get you a steak. I'm not saying that you gotta forget your roots. No more coon. That's just please. Your hands greasy. That coon is greasy. But their last couple of games, they've been in it. They have been pushing the best teams in this league to the limit. They've come up short in the end. And it's not that the Cowboys aren't doing it a good job defensively right now. Offensively, man, they just cannot score more than 21 points, 24 points. They can't. They struggle. They really do struggle. And I think the exception is the Washington game, where that game was 13-9 with 5 minutes to go. And then I don't know what happened, but they just can't score offensive points. And so, A lot of these guys will be looking for incentives. I know Rico is 269 yards from 1,000. CeeDee Lamb is a couple yards from 1,000. So guys will be looking for incentives. I think that's all they have to really play for at this point in time. So give me the Carolina Panthers 21. Cowboys 13. 21-13. The revenge game. Jonathan Mingo goes. No, we don't care about Jonathan Mingo. Yeah. 21-13. Cowboys lose to the Panthers on the road in Charlotte. One last thing for the Cowboys, though. I keep telling this to y'all every single year. Y'all keep thinking that Jerry cares about winning on the field and about how he'll write all these checks. If he would write all these checks, coaches will be signed, right? Remember he said, you would be shocked and amazed the check I would write for a Super Bowl again. That's not the game that Jerry wants to win. The game that Jerry wants to win for the 9th time in a row, the Dallas Cowboys have come in at number 1 on the Forbes list. The top 50 sports franchises and their ranking of wealth, the Dallas Cowboys are number 1 for the 9th year in a row. Not only are they number 1, they're number 1 by a large margin when you start talking about millions and billions. The Cowboys right now are worth $10.1 billion. Let me give you the top 10. I'm going to give you the top 10 so you can just see what that means. Right now, the number 10 most expensive franchise in the world. Number 10, the San Francisco 49ers at $6.8 billion. Number 9, the New York Jets are number 9 at $6.9 billion. Coming in at number 8, the Los Angeles Lakers, $7.1 billion are what that franchise is worth. Number 7, this is funny because they're not good at football, but the New York Football Giants, $7.3 billion that they're worth. Number 6, Rub and Tug himself, Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots come in at number 6, $7.4 billion. Number 5, the New York Knickerbockers at $7.5 billion. Number 4, the New York Yankees at number 4 at $7.55 billion. Number 3, the Los Angeles Rams. Shout out to Stan Kroenke. Number 3 at $7.6 billion. Number 2, who do you think? Take a wild guess. The Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are valued at $8.8 billion. So that says that the Cowboys are almost worth $2 billion more than any other franchise in the world because they top this list at number 1 at $10.1 billion. So this is all Jerry cared about. This is the Super Bowl for Jerry right here, being the number 1 franchise. And if he sold this franchise, he would probably sell it for $20 billion, $25 billion. It's crazy. Jerry's making money hand over fist. It's y'all fault. Y'all keep buying the merch. Y'all keep coming to these games. Don't tell me y'all worried about him doing something for a team. He won. This is him winning. This is his Super Bowl. $10.1 billion. The richest franchise, sports franchise in the world, according to Forbes. All right, man, let's get to the business around sports. I gotta take a deep breath. Because Tay talked me off a ledge and said, Jess, now, Jess, he said, don't go too far. He said, as a friend, I'm telling you, Jess, don't get yourself banned. Don't get yourself unable to go to the University of North Carolina. Because sometimes you do a little too much, say a little too much, and this is going out. And anybody will be able to pick it up. My University of North Carolina Tar Heel. My heels. And I can say my heels. I keep telling y'all I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm a Cowboy. I'm not a Tar Heel fan. I'm a Tar Heel. My University of North Carolina Tar Heels. My Heels signed a new head coach, a new football head coach. They fired the 73-year-old Mac Brown, and they hired the 72-year-old William Bill Belichick. I'm not happy about it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. Let me give you some of what the contract looks like. Bill Belichick signed a $5 million, 5-year, $50 million deal. The first 3 years are guaranteed, so $30 million of this contract is guaranteed. He gets a 3.5 annual bonus tied to final rankings, wins, ACC championship, conference playoff games. Here's what's important. He gets $10 million to allocate to his assistant coaches. And the biggest one is the NIL money. Carolina was way down in the dumps. They had $4 million that they offered from the university, NIL money. Not other sponsorships and other deals that players get. From the university. They go from $4 million in NIL money to 20. So Bill, and let me read off some of the contract stuff that you may be interested in. It's a 5-year deal. Like I said, $50 million. He gets $1 million paid base salary. He gets $900 million in supplemental income. The first 3 years of this is guaranteed, no matter what. So here are some of the bonuses that he can get every single year. $3.5 million tied to in bonuses. So for the regular season, if Bill Belichick gets the University of North Carolina to 8 wins, $150,000, 9 wins, $200,000, 10 wins, $250,000, 11 wins, $300,000, 12 wins, $350,000. A conference championship game. If he appears in a conference championship game, the ACC championship, like you see Clemson and SMU playing in this year, $200,000. If he wins a conference championship game, $300,000. Postseason bonuses. If he's in a non-CFP, that means a non-college football playoff for any bowl, $150,000. A non-CFP Tier 1 Elite Bowl, that's your big time, your New Year's Day bowls, $350,000. If he gets the University of North Carolina into the CFP, if we just get into it, we make an appearance, he gets a $750,000 bonus. If they get to the quarterfinals, $1 million. Semifinals, 1.2. If he gets to the CFP championship game appearance, 1.5. If he wins a national championship, $1.750 million. If he his final CFP polls, as he's ranked in the top 25, gets another bonus, $250,000. Top 20, $300,000. Top 15, $375,000. Top 10, $425,000. If he's ranked in the top 5 at the end of the year, he gets $500,000 bonus. So he also gets academic bonuses. If the team has an ARP that's 1,000 and above, $200,000. 99, $150,000. 989, $125,000. If the team's overall GPA is a 2.7 or higher, $50,000, 2.8, 75,000, 2.9, 100,000, 3.0 or above, $150,000 bonus. If Bill Belichick is the conference coach of the year, he gets another $100,000. If he's the national coach of the year, he gets another $250,000. So what I'm saying is that the deal is sweet. And I'm going to spend a lot of our time when I talk about this because this is my university. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Bill Belichick fleeced the Carolina Tar Heels. I think Bill Belichick loves coaching. When you coach for as long as he has coached, going way back to his assistant days. I mean, he's been in this league 40, 50 years. That's all he knows. That's all he knows is coaching. It's become his DNA. And when he left the Patriots, he got into TV, but there is this itch to coach. It's just he gets up in the morning wanting to break down film, wanting to practice, wanting to do all those things. But there's something to be said for a coach who is second in the National Football League in all-time wins. Second. There's something to be said that a guy who has 8 Super Bowl championships, 6 as a head coach, 2 as an assistant, who is arguably, not even arguably, right? Like he is the best coach in NFL history, at least when it comes to Super Bowls. Can't find a job. There were 8 jobs that came available last year in the National Football League. He didn't get any. He interviewed with one in Atlanta, and they thought, like the other guy. Adam Schefter said earlier this year that there'll probably be anywhere from 6 to 9 NFL jobs that open up this year. And I'm sure he's tested the water, talked to a couple GMs and some owners and all that kind of stuff. Nobody's sniffing for old Bill. Part of the reason, probably because of the demands, is Bill likes to have complete control. He wants to be the head coach. He wants to be the general manager. He wants to have complete control of what's going on football-related wise. And that's just not happening. You know it ain't happening in Dallas. So I think he looked around and he found a desperate program. Because here are a couple of reasons why I don't like the hire. You just got rid of a 73-year-old coach, only to hire a dude who will be 73 in April. I don't care what you tell me. Bill Belichick is not in tune with today's culture. Not these kids. I'm 40, and I'm barely holding on to what the hell these kids are talking about nowadays. And then there's the mystique, right? There is this is Bill Belichick. It's the most second winning coach in all-time history, most Super Bowl wins by a coach, blah, 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 blah. To you and I. To the 40-plus-year-olds, to the 35-plus-year-olds, to the 50-plus-year-olds, 60-plus-year-olds, who were old enough to know how he used to get down in New England, who are also old enough to know when that dude wearing number 12 with the good jawbone, the jawline, when he left, Bill wasn't so good as a coach. I mean, you always say, what comes first, right? The chicken or the egg? And who was more responsible for the championships in New England, Bill or Tom? Tom left. And in the same year that he left, he went and won a championship with a completely different team in Tampa. Bill didn't even make the playoffs. I'm just saying, if you want to ask the question, what came first, chicken or the egg? Be my guest. But Bill's not in tune with today's kids. And while he has a ton of NFL coaching experience, he has 0 coaching in college. And that's different. how you talk to these kids, how you develop these kids, how you handle these kids. The days of you going to sitting in the living room and meeting folks and parents and building that bond and relationship, those days are done. If you know anything about college recruiting today with the NIL, you got to talk to somebody agent. When I was being recruited many, many years ago, those coaches was coming into little old Roselle, New Jersey, and they was coming to my grandmother's house. And she was feeding them spaghetti. She would always feed them spaghetti because we were kind of poor. And that was the one meal that you can cook for a lot of people for a low cost. So she would always have a regular sauce and then sauce with meat in it. So just in case somebody was a vegetarian or something like that. But you would always you got spaghetti from my house. And then when the numbers begin to dwindle down and she figured out which ones that I liked, she might have fried up some chicken or something like that. She might have gave a little something extra. But everybody got spaghetti. Everybody got spaghetti. That was the easiest thing. She'd go down to Meat City, get a pound and a half of chopped meat, some noodles, and some sauce. And she make she get a loaf of that bread from the corner store, make her own garlic bread. Everybody ate spaghetti when they came to my house. But they came to my house. They talked to me. They met my grandmother. They met my brothers. And there was a relationship. There was no agent. Nowadays, you got to talk to the agent. And the more stars the kids are, the less you get a chance to relate to build a bond with them. Now, I get it. You go into the portal. $20 million. And that's significant because if you took the number of the Tar Heels NIL money, they're going to have $20 million to spend for the university NIL. If you take that number and you equate it to what that looks like, this year, the Carolina Tar Heels will be in contention with the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Michigans, the Bamas, the Texas of the world. I think Ohio State was $22 million that they had in university NIL money to spend this year. They had the Ohio State University had the richest roster that you can buy. So that's going to be important. But what's also has to be talked about is, cool, let's just say all things considered equal, NIL money-wise, right? Let's say there's $20 million across the board, okay? And now there's a 5-star kid, pick the state. I don't care what you pick at. Texas, California, Florida, whoever, Georgia, Atlanta, I don't care. Pick the state. All things considered equal. $20 million to spend on the NIL, on a kid in the NIL, all right? 5-star quarterback. Because quarterback's always a game. Quarterbacks are always the program changers. You get a quarterback, you got a chance. Okay? If Texas got $20 million, Ohio State got $20 million, Georgia got $20 million, Michigan got $20 million, Bama got $20 million, North Carolina got $20 million. What makes that kid choose North Carolina over Steve Sarkisian? Because the one thing that Bill tried to sell to the university, to the fans, was this place is going to be a pipeline to the NFL. And we're going to build and develop guys to go play in the NFL. Ain't that what every other university is doing? Ain't that what Alabama's doing? Ain't that what Georgia's doing? Ain't that what Mizzou is doing? Ain't that what Texas is doing? Ain't that what A&M is doing? That's what everybody's doing. Everybody's building a program that's a pipeline to the NFL. And so Carolina, who's historically we've been a good football program. We haven't been a powerhouse. You know, we played in the ACC championship game a couple years ago. We should have beat Clemson. The ref cheated us on that onside kick that we recovered, but that's neither here nor there. Now, do I think that Bill Belichick can make some splash? Yeah. But when you start talking about national powerhouse, Bill has zero connections with high school coaches. Never coached in high school. And a lot of his coaches, because I got a chance to be around Bill and his coaches, he's a very insulated dude. Look at the hires that Bill Belichick makes when he was with New England. His hires were always internal. Bill wasn't going to sign other guys when an assistant coach would leave to go for another team for a head coaching job. He would hire internally. He'd have Matt Patricia, who was a defensive guy, coaching offense. He's a very, very insulated dude when it comes to hiring people. So those that have been like, oh, yeah, well, he could just go and get college coaches. That's not how he rolls. He rolls with his group. He brought in his general manager, Michael Lombardi, who failed in the NFL. He's now going to be the University of North Carolina football GM. And so as he begins to work out this coaching staff, I can almost promise you a lot of the guys that he's going to bring on this staff are going to be former NFL coaches that were once on his staff, that he has a rapport with, who understands his way of working and thinking and operating. And most of those coaches also don't have any college football experience in the recruiting. And the way that the NFL coaches, when I coach men, I can be a different level of stern and straightforward than I can with an 18-year-old kid. Those 18-year-old kids are going to be like, oh, transfer portal me out of here. It's a different level. It's a different level. And again, I get the name, I get the hire, I get it. Like we are a university who is trying to match name recognition and popularity to the program. Carolina's always been historically a basketball school. It was never not going to be a basketball school, ever. We're too deep into it. We're a good football program. Jordan Brand, our stadium is beautiful. Our campus is beautiful. We play in the ACC. If you can get Carolina to 8 wins, 9 wins, like I would love for the fact of us to be a national powerhouse every single year. You're just far behind the 8 ball to do that. And then you don't sit in a rich enough pool where even if you owned the state, because that's the first part of recruiting, right? We got to dominate the state that our school is in. Especially if you're a state university, you got to dominate the state that you're in. But North Carolina doesn't have enough like game changers. They'll have some. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crapping on North Carolina, but the North Carolina, you will have. This is the difference. Look at Dallas-Fort Worth, not Texas, not the state. Look at a spot in the state. Look at Dallas-Fort Worth. Look at a 25-mile radius from Fort Worth, North Crowley, down to South Texas, to South Dallas, and the Duncanvilles, DeSotos, to the McKinneys. Just look at the DFW. And that one little small concentrated area dominates what North Carolina, the state, would have. The players that come just from the DFW. Not Texas, not Beaumont, not Houston, not Austin, not South Texas, none of that. Just in the DFW would dominate the state. So there's not even enough players in that state to make you a powerhouse. Because these other schools have ties. Because again, all things being equal, what makes the kid from said city in Texas leave the state if you offering them $2 million and Texas is offering them $2 million, or A&M is offering them $2 million, bigger conference, they're in the SEC, or LSU is offering them $2 million. Now what ends up having to happen is what was a $2 million going rate. That's what coach from Nebraska told you last year. What's his name? Matt Rule. Matt Rule already told you 1.5 is the going rate for a quarterback. Now let's just go ahead and prorate that up to the economy. $2 million is the going rate now for a starting quarterback, right? So if $2 million is being offered for the same kid in said city in Texas, What makes that kid say no to Texas, to A&M, to LSU, to Alabama, to Georgia, to Clemson before he gets to North Carolina? Remember, don't tell me, well, it's Bill Belichick. That 16-year-old kid don't give a damn about Bill Belichick. These kids don't know who Bill Belichick is like that. So now what Bill will have to do is, I got to almost double the money and hope the money is the reason why he comes. And then once he gets here, how do I keep him? Because the transfer portal is open. I looked at it today. 3,000 plus kids are in the transfer portal. There's only 125 Division I universities. 3,000 kids are in the transfer portal. The transfer portal opened Monday. 3,000 kids are in it. Looking for the bag, looking for the university. So I just, listen, now, the objective thing is, everything goes right. He's able to somehow, some way get the players that's needed, because it's all about the players, and it works. I don't, honestly, like, I'm trying. This is my university. I'm not trying to crap on my university. I would love to feel good about this is going to work. There is a difference between the NFL and college. I wish I can explain it to you more, but I've lived both of those lives. And it's going to be very difficult to be as stern and as tough and as all that. And I know what you guys are thinking. Well, I mean, he can change. How many people in your life do you know that are 50, 60, 70? Bill will be 73 years old. You think he's changing his ways? How many 70-year-olds that you know in your family, you still trying to get Big Mama to eat right? Big Mama, 69 years old and hanging on by a thread, and the doctor keep telling Big Mama, you can't have fried food. Big Mama, you can't have that sweets. Big Mama, you got to take your medicine. Big Mama is cooking, and her arm is burning on the stove, and they said, Big Mama, your arm. You think Big Mama changing? Big Mama 69 years old. You know what Big Mama going to tell you? I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. Have you seen a 70-year-old grandpa? Those got to be the most stubborn. Come on, y'all. Ain't no dude 70-year-old all of a sudden now he changing his stripes and going now all of a sudden know how to deal and talk to these young kids when his whole life has been around professional athletes where you speak to them in a certain way, in a certain form, you demand a certain thing. Nah. When that 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid is having a tough week because his girl cheated on him, or he's stressed out. Now, I am a mental health advocate 100% all the way. But what you going to do when that kid come and tell you, Coach, I'm just depressed right now. Just not feeling it. How does Bill handle that? You know what Bill would have told somebody if that was an NFL? He'd have cut you. You can't focus. You can't. I'm going to cut you. When you get your focus back, let me know, and then we'll see if we can't sign you back. I don't have time to deal with I don't have time to deal with your depression. I don't have time to deal with your anxiety. I don't have time to deal with you upset because you failed a test. You stressed out because you got 2 exams coming up. I ain't got time for all that. And you can't tell no assistant to deal with it. They're coming right to you. Or that kid come and tell you at the beginning of the year, Coach, I know I agreed upon this $250,000 NIL, but we halfway through the season, and I'm leading the ACC in receiving yards. I got the most interceptions in the ACC. You know, I'm going to need 500. This number got to go up. And you got 6 more games left in the season. Bill, how you going to deal with that? Michael Lombardi, how y'all going to deal with that? It's a different league, man. It's a different league. And like I said, it's my university. I love my school, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. All right, man. I spent too much time on that. What do I want to go next? Let's talk about Juan Soto. Juan Soto signed the richest deal in in sports, in SPORT sports. Hell, well, yeah, those soccer players overseas, they make bank. Has any soccer player made more than 700? It might be world. What are some of the soccer players? What are they doing over there? And I talk with Tay about this in the pre-show, and I was trying to figure out what do we talk about? Like, how do we talk about this? How do we relate this? I mean, this is something that I thought Shohei Ohtani's deal was crazy. This dude is, what is it, $765 million over 15 years. That's 50-something million dollars a year. I don't even know how to quantify that, to even put that into a thought process of how long before we get to $1 billion. And as a guy who played in the NFL, I don't think we'll ever get to that. I know Patrick Mahomes had like this inflated $500 million deal, but $765 million. And it's professional. Like, it's the largest contract in professional sports history.
So those soccer contracts are insane too. But they're lower term, like they're shorter term. So Lionel Messi got 4 years, $674 million, $168 million per. With Barcelona, and Cristiano Ronaldo got 2 years, $536 million. So 214 per.
Is that American dollars?
That's American dollars.
That's stupid. That's crazy. I don't even know what I would do with that kind of money. And here's my question also. How does one stay motivated when because baseball's guaranteed. There's no deferred payments, no deferred money in this contract. How does one stay completely motivated when you know, whatever, rain, sleet, snowstorm, if I hit for 300, if I hit for my 100 average, if I hit for 50 home runs or I hit for 5 home runs. How do you stay motivated? That's probably why God never gave me that much money. Because I'd have been like, practice, coach, I'm not going today, bro. That's $765 million. That's crazy. I don't even know how to talk about it. It's an insane, and the deal has escalators in it where it can get up to and over $800 million. So I guess that's the motivation, right? Like, if he hits a certain amount, they go to this World Series, they win a World Series, the deal can probably end up being somewhere around $800 million or more. He has a opt-out in 5 years, so he can opt out of this deal. Let's just say he's playing at an all-time high, right? The next 5 years, he can opt out of this deal and probably go get another bag somewhere else and make more money. Or if he's not playing so good in 5 years, he can say, you know what? I'm opting in this deal because I'm going to get the rest of this bread while I'm in this slump and try to get over it. That's just crazy. That's just crazy to me. That's wild. That's wild. Here's what a part of this year when it comes to football is really one of my favorite times. And the reason why it's one of my favorite times because you have two type of players right now. You have player A who is like, man, boy, playoffs. We're getting ourselves ready for the playoffs. And then you have players that are not going to the playoffs, like the Cowboys. And what I love about this time of the year is this is bonus time football. When you get down to those last 3 or 4 games of the season, you start looking around and you start saying, hey, boys, I'm close to that bonus. I'm close to that bonus, whether that be all pro, whether that be receptions or yards or touchdowns or interceptions or sacks. And so I got a chance to pull up. This was written by former agent now working for, who is it, CBS, Joe Corey. And he did a inside look on the 2024 performance bonuses for some of your favorite NFL players and what they look like. Let's just look up here who they got here. He got Josh Allen. Josh Allen expected bonuses right now are $1.5 million. The maximum is $5 million. He says Allen gets $1.5 if he's named the NFL MVP by Associated Press, Pro Football Writers of America, or by Sporting News. So $1.5 million to Josh Allen if he's named MVP. And right now, he's in the lead. So that's $1.5 million coming his way. He'll make another $1 million with the Buffalo winning the AFC Championship game. So there's the potential that he can make $2.5 million by winning the AFC Championship game, going to the Super Bowl, and being MVP. He has to win this will happen. AFC Championship game, and he's on the field for at least 60% of the team's offensive snaps. That's happening. He's the quarterback. He hasn't missed a game this year. A Super Bowl win will be worth an additional $2.5 million. So Josh Allen can make $5 million extra if he wins the MVP, his team wins the AFC Championship, and a Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley, he has the right now expected to get $3 million of the possible $4.5 million bonus that he can get. Barkley right now will earn $250,000 for reaching 1,500 yards from scrimmage. He's already there. Another 110 yards will make the total 500,000. So he's already there. If he's being named to the Pro Bowl, 250,000. Says with at least 1,000 yards rushing and the Eagles winning the NFC Championship game, Barkley gets $250,000. He's favored probably to do that right now. There's another $250,000 if the Eagles become Super Bowl champions. Added incentives increased his salary in 2025 and 2026. Derrick Henry, he has a possibility of making a $2 million bonus, which he's probably going to get. Derrick Henry, he only needs 93 more rushing yards to earn the entire $2 million. He got $500,000 when he scored his 13th touchdown. Reaching 15 touchdowns was worth another $500,000. Hitting the 1,200 yard rushing mark also earned him another $500,000. Let me see who else here. Your boy. Nah, I ain't gonna talk about Baker Mayfield. I don't want to hear about Baker Mayfield. Let me see anybody else here. Geno Smith, Hassan Reddick. We don't care about him. No, we don't care about him. We don't care about him. Well, I don't care about him either. Let's see here. Anybody else we care about really? Let's go. Frankie Louisville, linebacker from Washington. He has a maximum of $1.9 million that he can earn in bonuses. He's expected to make $1.6 already. He says a 3-year, $31 million contract Louisville signed in March joining the Commanders is worth up to $36 million through the incentives and salary escalators. Louisville earned $325,000 for reaching 6 sacks. Hitting his current 8 sacks is worth another $325,000. It has also increased Louisville's 2025 salary by $650,000 from $8.5 to $9.1 million. Getting 10 sacks would bring the total to $975,000. A first Pro Bowl selection will make Louisville an extra $325,000. So when you're watching these games and you're saying, what is this guy out there still doing playing? Just know a lot of these guys have incentives and escalators in their contracts. The Heisman will take place this weekend, right? It's this weekend. And I'll give you the Heismans that'll be at the game. They'll be at the contest, the finals. Where's it at? What do I do with my Heisman list? Where'd my Heisman list go? It doesn't matter. It's 4 guys that go into the Heisman. We're really only there to see 2. Dylan Gabriel, enjoy your free trip to New York City. Cam Ward, enjoy your free trip to New York City. You guys are Heisman finalists. You ain't got no shot. You ain't got no shot. This thing comes down to 2 players. And it's been a 2-horse race for a long time. Let me also say this. By the way, I know people don't like Shador, but go look at the numbers that Dylan Gabriel had put up. Shador Sanders' numbers are better than Dylan Gabriel. Now, I get it. Oregon's #1 team in the country. They're probably favorite to probably win the college football playoffs. But if we're just going by sheer numbers, Shador Sanders is better than numbers than Dylan Gabriel. But this is a 2-horse race. It's been a 2-horse race for a long time. This race comes down to Ashton Jeanty, the running back out of Boise State, and Travis Hunter, the all-world receiver cornerback out of Colorado. What are you about to show me, Tay? What are the odds?
Hunter's the heavy favorite, no matter what.
He's a heavy favorite.
Minus 4,000.
Yeah, it's a 2-horse race, but this is going to Travis Hunter. And I believe Travis Hunter is a generational talent. I do. I'm not saying that Ashton Jeanty doesn't deserve some consideration, but I always was against the conference in which he played in, the competition in which he played against. And I know he's doing some historic things, but the one thing that I've stood on, and because I have the mic, and I know Tay gonna roll his eyes at me, but I have the mic so I can say these things. The one thing that I sit on and I stand on when it comes to this is I think it'll be another 20 to 30 years before we see another Travis Hunter. A kid who is just dynamic. Like, he's just not a fill-in. Like, he's just not a guy who's just filling in at receiver or filling in at DB. And I know that there are a lot of people who have keyboards and microphones and can say things into the universe. But listen to the people at times, and everybody has their opinions. But to know what it feels like to play 60 snaps in a game, 65 snaps in a game, you're exhausted. This dude plays 100+ snaps a game. He's not moonlighting on in and side of the ball. It's like the ball's on defense, he's out there. The ball's on offense, he's out there. Like, he is not just like, oh, come in for a package or come in for a play or two or a reverse or a jet sweep. No, he's in the game plan. He is in there every single snap. And the numbers that he's put up, over 1,000 yards receiving, over 10 touchdowns, a couple interceptions on the year. I mean, if they could, the kid would return punts. He could do everything. He's probably going to be he's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. And I think Ashton Jeanty, he has a place in history, right? He's like a couple hundred yards off of the all-time record from Barry Sanders at Oklahoma State back in the day. And I think he should be celebrated. And he'll get a chance to play big-time football next year. But there is something to be said about competition. And people are going to say, well, what happened at Oregon? And yeah, he played Oregon like week 1 and week 2. They still trying to find out who they are. I think if you gave, and maybe it happens in the college football playoffs, you give Dan Lanning another shot at Ashton Jeanty, he ain't going off. Dan Lanning going to put together a plan that's going to say, oh, this guy, we ready for him now. We might have been sleeping on Boise State back then, but we ready for him now. He ain't doing that. I just think we're going to see how Boise State holds up in the college football playoffs. And if Ashton Jeanty goes out there and he's like whooping on some cats that's like really Power 5 teams, then he'll gain a lot of my respect. But Travis Hunter, to me, you put him up against anybody, and he was out there dogging. He was playing. He was dogging folks, man. And I think, like Vegas thinks, he's an absolute runaway, special talent, man. I don't think we're going to see another guy like Travis Hunter for a while. Travis Hunter, sidebar. Leave that girl alone. That girl's going to be your downfall. That girl is going to be your downfall. That girl is going to be your downfall. That girl is going to be your downfall. Please, sign a prenup. Do what you got to do. Be careful putting babies in that girl. But anyway, the Heisman Awards is this weekend. Travis Hunter's my pick. Who's your pick? You want Jeanty.
No, I just think there's interesting arguments for it. But I think in any other year he would be. That's the crazy thing, right?
If Travis Hunter,
Hunter's not there, Jeanty's the
Sure, but Trevor Hunter exists. Yeah, that's it. I'll save some other stuff. Before I go, I do want to do a praise report and a praise request. I'm sorry, a praise report and a prayer request. I do want to end on a praise report. Praise report for longtime NCAA announcer Dick Vitale, who tweeted out today or the other day, cancer free. Dick Vitale has been dealing with cancer, throat cancer, something like that. I think it was throat cancer. He's been dealing with. You haven't heard him say, "Dipsy do, baby. There's a diaper dandy. Da 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 da. This go. It's football." He's a Duke homer anyway, so I kind of mark him for that a little bit. But it's all good. Dick Vitale, who is a college basketball savant, he's been around forever. Big advocate of the Jimmy V Cancer Foundation. So shout out to him for being cancer free. And then a prayer request. It came out, I guess it came out a little bit. It probably wasn't supposed to come out. Larry Fitzgerald Sr. tweeted out the other day that he had heard in Vegas at the College Football Hall of Fame that Randy Moss is dealing with liver cancer. He has stepped away from ESPN to deal with a personal matter. Now, Randy Moss's son has come out and said that that's wrong. But nonetheless, Randy is dealing with some sort of health issue. We don't quite know what that is, if it's liver cancer or whatever it is. I want us to pray for Randy Moss, is my all-time favorite receiver. So a praise report that Dick Vitale has beat cancer, and a prayer request for Randy Moss. So thoughts and prayers to Randy Moss and his family that you beat down cancer. You Moss cancer. I want you to Moss cancer. I want you to reach up and do what you do and Moss cancer. So that's it for me, man. I appreciate you guys. Remember, stay away from individuals that have a problem to every solution. Let those folks be by themselves. Misery loves company. Don't answer the door. Don't allow them into your space. All right, that's it for me, man. Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll follow up the game from what the Cowboys did at Carolina, and we'll preview some more stuff. And I got some spicy stuff that I want to talk about. Some spicy stuff. Soft or safe? Ohio State representative, they're making some sportsmanship rules. We'll talk about that next time. Remember, like, subscribe, head on over to YouTube, leave a comment, notifications, Fanatics Views, Unfiltered with Jesse Holley on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Fourth and Long. That's all I got, man. I'm out of here. Remember, eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.